So the postman bought me a couple of presents in the mail today, and what he bought me is this electrical box by BLMA and some signal lights. This is actually a single light. It's that particular model right there. So it's got 3 heads and then 2 aspect on each head. So each head will be for each track, probably mount it here somewhere. So when I throw the switches, it should be green and show these as red and so forth. Now I've been checking out the detail on the electrical box, and even though this is actually quite expensive, really just for a little piece of plastic, the detail on this is it's quite superb. It's got these little metal bits here which you have to glue onto the top for the lifting points where a crane would actually bring it and drop it on site. And the lights, to keep the cost down, I bought it in kit form, so I'm going to have to glue these together and do all the wiring and stuff, so it should be quite interesting. And I was hoping to set up the electrical box on the side here and then the lights here somewhere, and I'll just run the wiring from the LEDs. Will go straight to the tortoise switch machines, and it has extra contacts on there to act as switches, and if that doesn't quite work the way I want it to, I'll probably end up having to buy a a signal decoder. Anyway, so I'm gonna crack on now and start putting this together. Okay, so I've been assembling the signal masts, and they're pretty straightforward instructions. Basically just glue everything together and run the wiring. So I haven't glued anything yet. This is still just doing a test run to make sure everything fits. And it's got these little covers here for the back. And they'll go over each of the heads. And then the wiring will come out of underneath there, and I'm hoping to run it down. You can see there the hole at the top, and we'll run the wiring out down the bottom. Now the only problem I see, which I'm going to have to, I can see with this, is each of these wires are the same color. So if I just run all 3 lights down the tube and out, I won't know which one's which, so I'll just do one signal head at a time. So I'll just do say this one here, and run the wires through, put a bit of masking tape on the bottom and mark it as signal 1, 2 and 3, and that should make life a lot easier when I go to finally wire it up. There's pieces here like the ladder and various other pieces when I work out what they are. I'll probably paint these maybe silver aluminium, or I'll just see what I've got lying around. I know I've got some old model paints from way back, and that will probably, hopefully they'll make it look a little better. And if I get time, you can see here at the top, these will be like wooden planks, and I see if I can put some sort of wood cutter on that. Alright, so I'm going to keep going and glue this together and wire it up, and hopefully it turns out great. Okay, so just to update to where we're at, the LEDs now have been installed into the head here, and they just sort of pushed in a little bit of pressure and they just push right in, and I've glued the little shroud thing here at the back, and the wires are ready to go. So I've got 3 of them done, and I've decided to go ahead and I've just painted everything. I had some spray paint. It was a much more of a glossy silver than what I'd want. I'd probably prefer a bit more of a dull aluminium. Maybe it looks a bit like a gal sort of coating, and it turned out pretty good. I'm just going to start assembling everything now, and I'll probably just do one more dry run, and if everything looks good I'm just going to go ahead and just glue everything in position. Because the table is quite portable, the light needs to be quite durable, because I don't want anything falling off the table as I'm carrying it around the house. So I need to make sure everything's glued down. Alright, so I'm just going to keep going, and I'll get back to it. Okay, so I haven't glued anything yet, and just checking it out to make sure it all fits well. Everything seems to be working out. So what I'll be doing is installing this light, and then we'll run the wiring down, mark the wiring, and so forth. I think this pole here and the main support pole is actually metal, so I'll have to be using super glue for the metal to plastic, and whenever there's going to be plastic to plastic I'll be using a Tamiya liquid cement, which is quite good actually. Alright, so I'm going to start gluing. Okay, so I've got it together now, and there is the completed lights with all the little bits on. I didn't paint the top bit, the wood. I didn't have any colour to suit it, so I just left it silver. So I've run all the wires down the pole, and there they are coming out the bottom now. And I guess it's really just a matter of now of mounting it on the table. So